Hello, it's always a joy to be with you on this platform, the conversation where we speak, you listen. We talk about anything, everything. And today we'll be zeroing in on how to ensure that there is always money in your pocket, ease of doing business. Now, every day we are encouraged to do one thing or the other. You know, find skills, entrepreneurial skills, whatever it is, but whatever, just keep moving. Like Martin Luther King would say, if you can't run, you can walk. If you can't walk, you can crawl. But whatever you do, don't stand still. Sometimes we do all of that, but we still find ourselves standing still due to some pressure. That it will be our thrust for today. We're going to find out what are those things that propel us backward when we're actually moving forward. And when we talk, we say we. Like my sister would say, we is plural, not singular. So,
And I'm Robin, and I'm here to discuss ease of doing business.
I am Mazi Chukuma Ohaka,
the money man,
the business coach.
Economy.
the money man. And I am Queen Rita Gujo. Thank you for joining us today.
you know, once this topic came up, the only thing I was hearing and seeing in my brain was
Chukuma.
But don't ask me why. I'll answer that on my own when we come back from this break. Don't go away.
Have you ever wondered why some men cannot finish using the towel and just hang it back somewhere in the bathroom? Why would they have to throw it on the bed? Little things like that they put off.
Have you ever wondered why a grown man with a wife and kids will go to the toilet, the lavatory, to ease himself, to do number one, to pee, right? He takes the seat up, he flips out that thing. The moment he starts peeing, he flushes the toilet, right? The toilet does its own bit. The flushing is done before the pee is done. And so 10 liters of water is wasted. The pee is still there.
Oh my goodness.
He doesn't put the seat back down. He doesn't reflush. He doesn't wash his hands. He walks away.
That's why I don't like shaking men, by the way.
There's a particular thing we know many men to be very, very guilty of, and that's throwing their shoes and stockings all over. Maybe men are going to be better, not throwing it around, but they can just, there's just someone that have those smelly feet and keep it for you in the living room. Women don't like it.
Show is conversation, and we did mention before we took our little break that we'll be looking at how to put more money on your pocket. And if I interpret it right, it is the ease of doing business. Now, business has been described in my very mundane language, using money to chase money. Am I right? Okay. Or are there more to it?
Using money to chase money.
Using ability to chase money.
Okay.
Using resources to chase money.
Using resources to chase money.
Okay, so it's not just money, resources. What are the resources when we talk about?
It can be your brain, can be your time, it can be your...
It could be your network.
Yeah, network.
You know, most times people don't know that network is money too.
Network.
This is
Network
my
is
money
money.
right here. My network.
Network is, they always say that your network is also
Your net worth.
So
Okay.
it depends on the kind of friends you gather around yourselves. If you put millionaires, I just saw that joke. If you put millionaires together, if you are in the midst of 10 billionaires and you're not a billionaire, you'll soon be the 11th billionaire. But if you're in the midst of 10 torturers, no matter how big you are, they are going to be the next 11 torturers. So it's like that. Money attracts money.
Is it that these people are going to contribute to your purpose, or you're going to work towards it? How does it work?
Is it two-way, right?
It's about when big people, when you are with people, the kind of information you'll be getting from them would ginger you. The kind of discussions you'll be having with them, the kind of things you'll be drawing from them. Because when you are in the midst of people who always see positivity in everything, no matter how negative your mind is, you begin to adapt to that positivity. Now, when you begin to stay in the midst of people who see failure in everything, no matter how far you've gone, you begin to move into that thing that they have always started saying. So whatever strength you have that would have propelled you upwards will start dwindling because you've started seeing people who never believed that anything is possible. Gradually, you start lowering your standard, and before you know it, you are thinking like them. And as you begin to think like them, most of the things, you start losing the connect that put you up there. And you begin to feel the vibes that are there. And before you know it, people say, something is wrong with this man. Is he okay? I'm
It's
seeing a lot
village
of
people.
changes. Village people.
You begin to
And all
change
of
your
us, yes.
feather. You know that birds of the same feather flock together thing.
Yes, so
You weed
that's
the
it.
feather you have and take on the one that the majority.
So it's important
Have.
to checkmate the people around you. But from what you've just told me, I want to believe that when we talk about ease of doing business, it's also what are the things you need, what are the things that actually lay you back, and your mindset from what you said is a big one. So if you think positive, you also have positive. If you begin to see stumbling blocks as stepping stones, then you have that mountain already climbed. Is that it?
I always say that challenges are raw materials for champions.
Challenges.
Challenges.
Are you writing? Take notes.
Challenges are raw materials for champions. If there was never a Goliath, there wouldn't have been a King David. If he had seen that man and run away. So, but he saw it as a challenge, and he refined it, and it became a raw material. Gold can never be gold until it passes through a process. Every man up there had passed through a process. And that process is something that you have to self-determine to be willing to sacrifice yourself to go through. Most times, people give up at the verge of their breakthrough. Most times.
Now, this inspirational, propelling speech that Chukwuma is giving us right now, I want you to bring it to Nigeria. Because I buy all this, okay? But whenever you mention ease and business, the first thing that comes to my mind is power supply,
Exactly.
high rental,
Exactly.
no access to finance, no access to resources, intellectual resources.
tax.
You're talking intellectual resources now, which is very important. But these are the basics that often, jumps at me when I think about doing business. How much is the rent in ABC location? How will I be sustained? Because if it's a salon, if it's a spa, if it's this kind of business, I need power 24/7. Am I going to be my own local government providing me water, security, light,
And road.
Access.
and access? So when you have all this ginger from this kind of speech that you just gave, because I'm gingered right now. When you have all this ginger and then you step out of that lecture and you face bish, no power, no money, how do you maneuver that?
Let me explain something. Most times people come up after reading several motivational books and they come and echo it to people and you expect people to do that, I saw one that said, I started my restaurant with a grain of rice and stuff like that. I am speaking from the point of a man that had seen all that you have said, not from a very rich family, not from any political appointed brother, not from any brother sending me any amount of money or anything. I started from the grassroots. And one of the key things that helped me have been things I told you, determination. Now, despite all that you have mentioned, people are still surviving in Nigeria.
Very true.
Now, how are these people surviving? Because there are people who could decide to say, okay, fine, I am looking at the positive side, and there are people who say, I'm looking at the negative side. So it depends on the route you want to follow. Despite all these challenges, people are still making money, people are still surviving. But the most critical point of it is that, first, you say many people have also said, I want to survive. Yes, I want to survive. Do you have all that it takes to survive? How many times are you willing, when it throws to you and you're willing to accept it, to refine it and bring it out? Because sometimes it throws to you and you remain on the floor. You take it and you don't know what to refine on it. I could give a real life scenario. It's a story that had happened to me and I always repeat it because when I repeat it, not because I want people to clap for me, but because someone else might be passing through that. I working in the financial service industry, and at a point in my career, there was a kind of setback. Things weren't working during the banking crisis. I lost my job. I was heading a region, and there was no money. And the little I saved because then you were encouraged to borrow to invest in shares. The little I had was a loan I took to buy shares. And I knew that I didn't have money again to service this loan. So I needed to get off that toxic loan. I sold those shares at a loss to ensure that I moved myself out of the debt. And when that finished, I had nothing. And when I say I had nothing, at a point, I didn't have 20 naira to buy candlelight for my wife to give to bathe our son. And if people live with me if they're watching, they know this story. And what did I do? My wife had some little savings of about 27,000 naira then.
What year was this?
If I say you will laugh. This was 2008, 2009.
Wow.
And my wife had little savings of 27,000 naira. And this 27,000 naira, she told me about it. And I met a friend of mine who happened to work in one of the new generation banks then. I was a big person. And he told me he had an agreement with a particular bread factory. I was living in Imo State in Enugu. And he had, those bread factory don't have have reps distributors in Owerri. So, and that he had finished the business, he was going to do that business. But he felt that because I didn't have what I was doing, I could go do that business. Remember, I had a car, my wife had a car. And it was something like, how could I have just come from a salary of about 416K then to coming to sell bread? First thing is most people or some people are where they are because of pride. They will ask themselves, who said me after that, I cannot do it. No, they will keep believing. Hunger does not ask you what you want to do. You have to take steps first and go back. So when he gave me that proposal, I jumped at it and I made an arrangement with the people. And the first thing I did was to bring out my book. And I told my wife, I used to earn so and so amount of money. And I'm going to do an analysis of number of loaves I was going to sell to earn my salary.
Wow.
I didn't see it as a bread business. I saw it as a source of income. Are you getting it? Now, and when I started, I told her that what I was going to apply is the same zeal I used in doing the other people's job. I'll use that zeal for myself. I seen the determination. I sold pride. I took it away. I removed the coat of a big man that used to have impress.
I'm sure by this time the coat has actually been bigger than you.
No,
you would have shrunk yourself, and then the coat is
you know the
now
irony
bigger.
is, when I lost my job, I was thrown off balance.
And you started binging?
I begged them to keep me to work for free so that I can have a place to go. My wife listened. She told me, you can't do that. I said, what will I do? I had no idea, no plans. It was like they just brought me from up down. Wow. I was like, okay, let me be coming to the office for free. They said, no, we are winding down. I'm like, what? Is that how my word is? So, the first thing, I removed the identity of what I used to be, and I wore the identity of a bread seller. And I will meet you, the first thing I tell you, my name is Chukum and I sell bread. People mocked, people laughed at me. I told my wife that I designed a format where there is a crowd. There must be people who eat bread. So I designed a market format. I drive my car, I drive my wife's car. She drives her car. So we'll bring the bread. We started using our cars to sell it, use our boats to sell it. I will go to FMC, State Secretariat, and we'll do the supplies. After supplying to some supermarkets, in the evening, we'll park at a very popular junction near our house. Then we'll be, like, these people will just be passing, hey, bread, come. We'll just put bread and come and give you. But I had a focus. And do you know the funny thing? From bread, I was making 300 and something thousand a month.
Wow.
I have my record. If you doubt, maybe what I'll do is I'll find out that record.
After you have removed what you used in purchasing
the
bread,
profit.
Profit.
I was making because I had my record. Wow. I was making 300 and something. Within a few months, I was able to save 500 and something thousand to buy a bus.
For bread.
Yes, and because I was overseeing people, I was managing people, so I needed to. So I employed a driver and a sales girl. who were then moving the bread to some locations while I was also doing that. Fast forward. We continued in that business. Money kept coming. Then we moved from there to diapers, other kind of businesses. That was how we started. Then we moved into supermarket and all the rest and all that.
Now, let me ask you a critical question. The bread business, you were not the one baking, so you didn't have issue with lights and all that, but you had issue with, tax force, I don't know, area boys and all that. How did you handle it? Because a lot of people, I've met these taxi drivers.
Multiple taxation.
They complain a whole lot about tax and all that. How were you able to circumvent?
I'll start from this way, that one of the areas government would really need to look into is this area of taxation. Still today, it's still a problem because there are multiple people collecting the same kind of tax. This person will come and say, I am from ABCD. And you see that they are related taxes. But then, as a sharp guy that I was, and I'm still, what I did was I made friends. I made friends with the tax force people. I still have their numbers. If I just bring out sometimes, if I type emblem, I'll see their name, they'll come. And I still talk with them. I made friends with those guys who were because I was on the street. I was on the floor. So the man that is on the floor needs not to fear anything. I needed to survive. So I made friends with them, and when the people want to come and harass me, in fact, there was a day one of them took my boss. I had to call this other guy. He went and rescued my boss. He said, it's my August boss. When you know them, they defend you. But I was always tipping this guy who was always giving me a cover. You understand, at that time, because there was no other way I could do but to do that. And another thing I did was I registered with All Bread Association in Imo State. I made sure that I registered with them so that they gave me my days. So that if I want to come and sell bread, I had my days were Tuesday and Thursday. So on that day, they will make their members buy from me because I'm a member of the association. So I registered in other locations. So because of the registration, it was easy for me to do. And I advise every person that wants to do business. You can't run away from the regular things. There are the illegal ones, but the regular ones that you need to survive. If you're into pharmaceutical now, you have to make sure that you register the pharmaceutical association and the bodies that are in charge of that, so that nobody will come into your place and tell you what is not. If people are telling you what's not, you find a way to report to the association so that the association would also give you a cover. Because I was with Bread Association of Imo State then, there was no hit you could give me that could. I would know how to take my cover with them. You understand? But currently, I'm towing this line because I'm not talking to the well-established big people, because those guys can always have their connect. I'm talking to people who would have been in my shoes, people who would have lost their job because the pandemic.
Boy, has that happened? Exactly.
Yes, the pandemic had made a lot of businesses close down, and a lot of people now are not doing anything. And you ask them, "What are you doing?" They say, "I'm not doing anything, my brother. I'm looking for work." Now, if you have to get something, you have to take aside. Throw away anything that has to do with pride. Throw away the spirit of trying to dupe people. Because one of the things that worked consistently for me was the ability to be accountable. I made sure that the people that were supplying me, I was paying them. Now, if you are going to work, or if you don't have money, I've always said this. One of the things that propelled us was the fact that I had someone who was a clearing agent to a lot of importers.
A lot of what?
Importers.
Okay.
And at that point in time, he knew that he could vouch for me. And he vouched for me. That's where network comes in. He told someone. I didn't have capital. If I tell you how money came in, I had a friend who told me about his friend who also lost his job from the bank, and they paid him huge sum, 5 million. Then it was a big amount. And the guy was like,
it's still a big amount.
The guy was like, I don't know what to do with this money. And he had to take out 1 million. And my friend introduced me to these importers, and one of the importers asked me, can you raise 5 million? I said yes. I didn't have anywhere to raise 5 million. And I came back, I told this friend that, can you imagine this man asked me if I can raise 5 million? He said, what is that? I said, what will I say? I said, yes. Now let me be trying and see if I can raise this money. He said, okay, so and so person has 4 million. I said, he has 4 million. I said, yes. I said, 4 million minus 5 million minus 4. That the man will collect. We entered Calabar because the guy imports through Tinapa, Free Trade Zone, yes. We entered Calabar. I went and told my friend, I have 4 million. He said, fine, let's go. What you would see from me is positive. Everything about me is positive. Everything was possible. For as long as it was legit.
So that spirit of positivity is key
everything
if you want to
about
succeed
me
in
was,
business.
I'm sure people who know this story watching would tell you this is true. As in, the positivity in me was extreme. I in fact, sometimes I ask myself, where did you get that energy from? I got to Calabar, we met, and I was talking like one big man. The man didn't know it wasn't my money. How did this guy trust me to give me 4 million? He had to know my track record. That's where trust is important. People always destroy their future in trying to do some minor few things that means nothing. I told this guy, it's the guy that brought the 4 million is not my friend. I told his friend, who is my friend. And I said, okay, you can invest this 4 million. You've seen our track record of our business. We've moved from bread to diapers. In fact, at the point I used my son's picture for signage for our diapers. Then into this warehouse now. So you have seen the track record. We now need to expand, but we don't have enough money. But if you give me this 4 million, I'll be giving you a particular amount of money every month. Any day you need this, your 4 million, give us 3 months notice. We'll be able to give you back your money. The guy said, no problem. The first month, we gave him the amount we agreed. The second month, we gave him the amount we agreed. Then we took this 4 million to this man. I told the man, so I couldn't raise 5 million, but I brought 4 million. If you give me your goods in so and so period, I'll be able to give you the 1 million. The guy said, okay, pay the 4 million into the account. I paid the 4 million into the account. The man supplied me goods of 16 million.
That's called distributorship.
16 million. Hey.
And business chart.
To be honest, Auntie Lizzie. Mr. Chooks here, I feel like my own generation of people will be like, that man is just talking. He's just talking. Yeah, I know he has mentioned 2018, but I'm like a living testimony of a recent, I had a conversation with someone who happens to be a big man in power. And I said, I feel depressed. And he said, why? I said, because I'm seeing so many girls in Abuja, young girls like me, who have big cars, have plenty money. I want my own money. And he said, Enobong, stick to your story. He said, Enobong, I have known you long enough. You have a track record. Stick to your story. For me, I'm not a billionaire yet. I don't have his kind of money. I don't have his kind of connect.
Have money.
But I have a story to tell somebody who is willing to try. I finished university. Before I even went for NYSC, I entered Balogun. Okay, I told my mom, I said, I needed money for this. Everybody around me, I said, I need 10,000 naira from everybody. And I raised, I think it was 50,000 naira. Then I entered the night bus, went to Balogun. That's how I started selling clothes, Bought Okurika. I went to Mandilas, bought shirts, packet shirts. I trekked my life out that day.
Oh, if you go to Balogun, you must trek.
I trekked my life out. But what I was looking for I was looking for quality things that you won't really find in Calabar, but things that people will appreciate. I bought perfumes, I bought stuff from Balogun because I didn't really know my way. That was my first time. My mother is not a businesswoman. Nobody in my family does business. I don't know where I got my own, instinct from. So I take these goods to Calabar, and of course, you always must keep records. Because I have my records from my first business till date.
Wow.
I have my records. I don't joke with records.
I have my records till today.
The people who are owing me from that time, I still have their names.
Pay up.
Till now, but it's fine.
This is an opportunity to announce their names.
Until Lizzie, I'll break a lot of tables.
On national TV.
It was easy that because of ignorance, I would buy a purse for like 700 naira and sell for at least sometimes 35.
Of course.
4,000. Because of information, I could sell it. I can sell a human being, to be very honest.
Okay, we're not for sale, for the record.
So, that was it. And then I started making it. There was money coming in. And then my friend was like, the new thing that is raining now is makeup. Oh, how far? I said, I don't do makeup. I used to be tomboyish. Or leave all this packaging and make correct, wear your face cap and be going. So I went, Maud was doing a training then. I went, did the training. And as God will have it, network is what he's talking about. The next week, I got a job of about 200K.
Wow.
I'm saying this because people would think it's not possible. I didn't have to do so much for it. Me, who was not even experienced in the makeup, because I just finished, what I did was call other people who were experienced. I said, come and do the job. I'll give you so and so cut. Come and do the job. And what I did was learn from them while they were doing it.
And you learned to do
So
it
I
yourself.
kept learning, And for me, it has been that way. So from one stage to the other, to the business that I'm doing now, even though we never blow,
Don't
but
worry.
I can say
The-
consistency.
You know, consistency is key.
Consistency.
I had
We never
No,
blow
the
now.
blowing part, you and I have an agreement. We know how to go about blowing it. We'll discuss it because you've actually brought up a lot of things that I want to speak of. But let's quickly do a small break. When we come back, we'll continue.
I know this is not just me that this thing is happening to. It's happening to a lot of business owners in this country. But this is not fair. This is not fair. Like we work from morning till night to make sure that we attain this success. We make sure that we help these people that work under us. I mean, you can't expect us to be doing business and at the same time every bloody day these Amak people will come and frustrate you. I'm just coming from Gwarimpa branch. I'm going to post the videos beside this one. Like, they went to Gwarimpa branch this morning. It is a restaurant that has a bigger branch. The main branch is in Buseitu. You come from nowhere. You just go to the other branch and seal it. And you sealed it with the people inside plus customer. Why would you seal a restaurant with people inside? Why? With food, with things that we took to that place. For what reason? You said, oh, you need a food handler's receipt. Because we did not have the food handler's receipt in Gwarimpa, they brought a court order to seal the place. Then they called me. I was in a meeting. I said, okay, let me speak to the guy. I spoke to him and he said, madam, it's either we lock it up or you give us 250. And I was like, I don't understand. I give you 250. Where the hell will I get the 250 to give you? Every bloody day you come with different receipts. I said, sir, we've paid for this. The receipts are in the main branch. Could you come to the main branch or can you wait for them to bring all the receipts? Before I opened this restaurant, I went out of my way to do the right thing, to get all the receipts. Every single thing that we need to register for, I went out of my way to get them. I registered for them. Last year, I did the whole registration. We paid through Remitter. Then they keep coming every day. When we show them a receipt from the remitting thing that we did, they keep saying, oh, that is not us. This is our own. Give us this. This year, I said, okay, let's do the Nigerian way. Give us everything that we need to pay in total. Then I will give you, there's one particular person that comes, I give you, go and pay everything and give me a receipt. He went, he did that, they gave us all the receipts. They said we have to do tests for all the staff. I took my time. Almost 100 people, almost 100 people. I took them, all of them, batch by batch to the hospital to do tests. The results are here. That is food handler's results. We have it here. Just wait for me to come. They'll shut down the place. I was in a meeting, I couldn't go out for 4 bloody hours. You shut down a place with people inside. Then you tell me it's from the court. Which court order will tell you to shut down a place? Then it's either they shut it down or you give them money. Why do we have to bribe you to do the right thing? Why? It's so bloody annoying that we have to go out of our way to constantly work to provide for people that the government is supposed to provide for. But we take this responsibility. More than 120 people are working under this restaurant. And then you bloody want to frustrate me every single day. I'm just 35. I cannot have peace in doing business, what kind of country is this? What do you want us to do?
Okay, it's still conversation, and what we just saw is rather disheartening. But the truth is, it is real. And I have somebody with me in the studio corroborating that. Let me leave you to tell your own experience.
Yes, what the lady said is actually the truth. Sometime 2 years back, we kept receiving this kind of message, several pay this, pay that from AMAC. And at a point, it got me here. You pay this, another group will come. You pay this, another group will come. And I told my friends, I said, no, someone needs to challenge this, or else at least someone has to be a voice for the voiceless. They said, how? I said, I'm going to take it up. I'm going to challenge them. So I looked at one of the ones that they called, and I called the number. The guy said he was one executive director, blah, 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 blah. I said, all this title we have, one this title. Where's the office? I went with my lawyer. He didn't know I was with a lawyer. So I said, sir, you said I should pay 700 and something thousand for. He finished that we have not done fumigation. I said, sir, for corrections.
700 and...
I said, for corrections.
For
I said, for corrections. I said, I don't do fumigation for you. I do fumigation because the business I do requires I do fumigation. And it is in my safety that I do fumigation, not because I need you. He said that I didn't do my fumigation with their own certified fumigator. I asked him a question. Did you tell me, or did you for once come to my office to tell me who your certified fumigators are? I said, whether you have a certified fumigator or not, the most important thing is that I do my fumigation for the purpose of my being in business, because I need to do that.
It's very easy. It's very possible that this person is actually not from AMAC.
He is. He's an agent. I'll tell you.
Wow.
So I told him, sir, because then my manager had offered to pay them 100 and something thousand. I said, you see that 100 and something thousand? He said, I'm not paying. Because he said that for a number of years we have not done. I said, there's never been any 3-4 months I don't do fumigation. Not because of you, but because I need to do that. The guy said, okay, the matter has already gone to court. I said, fine and good. Which of the courts? He mentioned one magistrate court in zone 1 or zone 3. I don't know. I told my guy, let's go. The guy said, okay, let's go now because I know these people. Lo and behold, by the time we got in there to see the registrar, they said they just called your matter. We got in there. What did we say? None of the people that they have listed as people that they are going to come to court. But there was a judgment going on people
that were not there.
Yes. And I walked in. Before we could come in, the guy had called their people to drop our name, that they shouldn't come to us. So when we got in, my lawyer insisted, said, I need to make an appearance in this case. So that tomorrow, they will not come and say anything. Let it be on record that we appeared. Despite the fact they were telling us, no, that they have dropped our case, that we shouldn't bother. My lawyer said, I said, let's go. He said, no, sir, we have to. We have to make appearance. Whoa. I said, okay, go ahead. He introduced himself and everything. They said, okay, that they have looked at our case and they have dropped our case. And I asked a question.
No, why did they drop it?
Nothing. I didn't do.
No, you are aware.
I paid nothing.
He showed knowledge.
I paid nothing. And nobody harassed me. And recently, this was sometime this year again, another set of people came and said they were coming to do a job that NAFDAC is supposed to do. And they met my manager. The manager asked them, excuse me, are you NAFDAC? No. Are you Consumer Protection Council? No. What certifies you to come in and do this check you want to do? Because we know the people that are supposed to do, and we submit to those agencies that are supposed to do that. He said, we are warned. We were told that you people are very stubborn. Oh. And he even issued a threat. So they called me when I was in the office. I said, someone issued a threat in the place. I said, get me the guy's number now. The guy said, I said, okay, fine and good. All of a sudden, we saw a court someone. I called my lawyer. I said, another work, don't come more. Let's go to court. So what happened is that a lot of people go pay a particular money to either AMAC or a particular agency, and they are given this contract. You pay this, you pay that. In fact, at a point, I told them I was going to write to the office of the vice president because people struggle to come out. There was one that went viral. Before the pandemic, before the lockdown, as we were trying to open up, there was one that went around that people are going to pay either 150,000 or 200,000. I think I still have it on my phone before they open their shops. And Liz, it went viral. I was like, how?
But they denied it. That's why I asked, I said, is it even possible that they are not from AMAC? Because I saw that one you're talking about. And I actually went to AMAC.
I actually sent it to you.
So I went to AMAC. I actually spoke with the chairman, Candido. And I said, this thing is out there and you people are saying people should. He said, no. That they are insisting you must fumigate with standard fumigation. And before you are billed, they are supposed to come to see your space. So you are billed according to the size and density of your area, not just blankets, pay this amount.
But Rita,
so that's what, you know, exactly. So he gave me all those explanations, and I said, okay, perhaps information that is going out is not being properly disseminated, because it's not like if you have a shop, from what he told me, if you have a shop, you must pay 120,000 or 50,000, or it's not cast on stone. They must see your space first. Based on the space, they will determine what form of fumigation you needed as at then before you can then reopen. And I think there were even places that were fumigating for free, like the general market. We saw the FCT Minister,
they did that.
FCT Minister of State flagging off fumigation in those areas. So, you know, with someone like you, what we can get from your story is that it's important that people are informed.
Information.
Yes.
Because with information, they will know
what I
they
always tell
cannot
people,
push you
what I always
around.
tell people is this: not about being informed. Be willing. When you receive that, a lot of people are jittery.
Don't be scared.
I tell
Use the
people,
information,
don't be
right?
afraid. There are addresses there. Go to the office. If you confirm it, and you look at the bill they are giving to you, and the bill is not what you're supposed to pay, argue it with them. If they say no, that you must pay that, tell them to take you to court. Get a lawyer, go and defend yourself. Once you get into the court, the matter remains suspended until there is a determination in the court. So follow them, and as long as people are willing to follow. One thing I have known about Nigerians, we are very impatient to follow matters.
Yeah.
You know, that which you're saying is one of the reasons why there is a lot of unease doing business in Nigeria. Most people, they always tell you, why do I need to go and spend a whole day, you know, trying a matter in a court or following these law enforcement agents or the other, or tax master or the other. At the end of the day, you think you're saving your 24-hour or 12-hour that you would have spent doing that thing, but you lose more money. And if you pay to one agent, because those people usually are agents.
They circulate among themselves.
If you pay one agent, they are going to tell the others, there's a Mugu here.
Yes.
You know, go back and they'll keep siphoning you. How long are you going to keep doing that? If you're willing to take up a business, you should be able to do the needful.
Sacrifice
what
everything.
I always say is, don't start a business if you're not ready.
Don't.
If you're going to learn how to sell sweets, if you know someone who has sold sweets, attach yourself.
Mentorship.
You know, mentorship. Learn a little bit of sweet selling. So that way you can know how much. And then record keeping, like two of you said, you were able to make it because you have records. A lot of people do not know how to keep. They are selling article store. That's what I call it, provision store. Where they have, there's gari, there's rice, there's this. Somebody comes and the person is going, Mama Emeka, you're going, chai, what do I offer you? Yeah, take 2 cups of rice now. You are not doing well. Whatever you take out. I remember when I went to a friend's shop, you know the guy, and he needed to buy something from his own shop. I was also shopping from his shop. And I was watching him. He brought us his ATM card and paid. I said, even in your own shop. He said, yes, so I want to be accountable. And I said, that's good business sense. A lot of us eat out of what we have. And at the end of the day, he said there's no profit. You don't check how much you brought this thing. There are times you go to different shops, you find a little bit of a
variations,
price fluctuations and variations. You know, you should be able to find out, why is this person selling cheaper than me? That your goods is in the market. Try to do, you know, a market survey. I went into a company that produces a fizzy drink, and I saw the opening kind of drink on the marketer's table. And I'm like, are you drinking this? But looking at the state of a drink, you know he wasn't drinking it. What they do is to analyze their opponents and find out what they are doing better than they are doing. So if you're going to do business and flourish, you must be able to keep your opponents very close.
Very true, Sister Liz.
Speaking of ease of doing business, I think people, another problem that we have in this country, apart from the tax, the different challenges, is really starting the business. If you look at the news, if you follow the news, the information that we have now, you have Bank of Industry, you have NISAL, you have all these people saying, okay, access to loan to
even the
business,
central bank.
You have grants, you have this, you have that. So somebody's sitting down in their house and saying, okay, there's access to funding, so I'm going to go and rent a shop and start a business. A friend of mine told me, go to First Bank, they are giving loan to women to do business. So do a business plan. And me, before I even did my business, started my business, I had done a very intensive course on business plan, did my 42-page business plan, very detailed business. I was ready for the market. Shishi, I know get. I went to the bank and the lady kept me there waiting, and she came. And she said, can I see your bank statement for the business? 1-year bank statement. And my question is, how am I supposed to give you a 1 year bank statement for a loan I want to use to start a business? I said, oh, for you to access a loan, you need to have account with us, and then you need to have a 1 year, bank statement. So the thing is, I don't know. So how are you supposed to start the business?
Okay.
Get
Let
the
me-
1 year
can I
bank
comment?
statement and then access a loan. If you can do that, then why don't you just...
Let me explain to you. Every bank is not keeping any money for anybody.
They're
The
not
bank
exactly a
is
charity
somebody's
organization.
money
Exactly.
that they are going to give you to support you. So if they are not sure you're going to pay that money back, if Lizzie deposited money, they will give it to you at interest, with an interest. And from that interest, they will service themselves. If you're not paying back that money, Lizzie will not be able to withdraw her money. And they need to prove a track record that you have done this business to a certain point, so that when they give you this money, it will push you up. You ought to start first before you go and collect loan. People run quick to collect loan. You don't use loan to start business.
Information.
That's the issue of information. There's
Information.
something.
You don't use loan to start
I'm
business.
not going
And
to.
Rita, to be honest,
it might sound
the
like
person
a
who told me
promo.
about this Access Bank loan, do you know what he told me? He said, I have a stake in that loan.
Story.
So when you get the loan, you will give me 2 million out of the 6 million they will give to you.
So you already have an amount that you are going to get actually. if you want to make things like that work, you might want to you might want to look at the Smithan or even Abuja Enterprise Agency. Because information is key, and I have done a bit of research on that Abuja Enterprise Agency. I know that if you walk in there with an idea, genuine idea, you can walk out with a business.
I have partnered with them once.
I know that because
Money or business?
business.
Okay.
Well, business is not always money. That's the point I'm trying to make. Money inclusive. If they can tell from their conversation with you, from the plan, that you do have a plan that ABC amount can see through, and they can monitor you, they will give you money as well.
Okay, now let me
But
explain.
you have to prove
Let me explain something.
that
because
Nigeria
it is-
factor comes
no,
into
no.
that.
Forget- I'm not French. I'm not a French man. I'm a Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian guy. Leave
I've
Nigerian
not seen
factor
that.
thing. I've never I've benefited from BOI. I didn't
Okay.
know anybody. They saw track record, and they saw track record. They support.
that's important.
So when you go to you have to get a track record before you get money. Nobody's willing to give you any money to go and do trial and error. What if you fail? Money comes. My friend used to say that. He said, "Worry man, you know you're from that side." He said, "When money dey on top tree, now money you go use stone them down. Money will always bring money. If you have a wonderful idea, what has happened in this part of the world is that people have ideas and they think that that idea is going to be successful. The fact that you've not put that idea on a test case does not mean that it's going to be successful.
And the
Many
idea is
ideas
not unique to you.
Many ideas have come up and died. So the people you're talking to, that's why in bank they have risk. They have many people there. They have seen this story you're giving to them. Many stories have come. People will come and do packaging. So it's not it. If you have an idea and you don't have money to push your idea, but you could fund your idea through collaboration. What I was trying to pick up from my story has a lot of, there was collaboration. Now, you can't get into business without having a personal integrity. You can't get into business, you must have integrity. Not when people give you money, you can't account for 10,000, yet you want somebody to give you 100,000. You can't have someone to come and vouch for you, yet you want to do business. People must vouch for you. I once had a friend, sorry Liz, I once had a friend, he had a pure water company. I'm sure he's always around, whenever he's around me, is one of the happiest persons. He told me one day, he said, the bread seller is now because he used it to yab me. Now, he had a pure water company, and he was not always around to manage his pure water business. And he handed me over his pure water business. I told him, guy, you can't pay me, but I can manage your pure water business. He said, okay. I said, produce for me. This was in the course of time I didn't have job. I said, produce for me. I'll use my car to sell. And I started selling his water as if it was mine. People thought I was the owner of the pure water company. 25th December 2009, I was wearing shorts and t-shirt. I was doing what? Selling water. I didn't know if it was Christmas Day. Because that was the day people drank more water. And I sold more.
Oh my goodness.
It's not... pride is one thing. Lack of character
this lack of character you've been hammering on, in fact, everybody has actually talked about it. I want to still stress on it because it's not when you have finished school that you begin to build your character.
Not at all.
If I'm going to give you my money to do business, and I knew you way back in primary school as somebody who will always want another person's thing, and when you take them, you don't return it, even if it's as little as pencil, or you went to secondary school, I knew you as a crypto. At the end of the day, we're out of school and you want me to loan you money to go and do business. I'm not going to do it. So I'm actually speaking to the very young people among us. It's important for you to build your character now. There was this stuff I saw on social media. I think somebody sent it to me on WhatsApp. A girl who was hawking organic products. He said, this one, if you take it, your skin will be clean. If you take this one will be this. And at the end of the day, the woman asked her, biology. Are you not this person's daughter? She said, yes, it's me. The one that could not pass chemistry and physics. He said, yes, mama. He said, and then you're now selling organic products. You see how this woman took her back to in her days. You didn't know anything about chemistry and you're coming to tell me which one is organic and inorganic. So it's important for us to understand that the image you want tomorrow,
it starts today.
You know, if you want to do business and succeed, if you want people to trust you, it is today. Even the communication and information you're talking about, for you to be able to know what is happening around you and know which door to go and knock and say, okay, I'm being billed and this is happening to me. You'd have exposed yourself to a whole lot of things. I see young people growing up, they're on social media just looking at who is dating who is cheating on who is wearing what, and what is in vogue. Meanwhile, the same social media will tell you the SMEs where you can get help. It will tell you where you can get mentors.
It can also tell you the sites where you could go and access funds. There are donor agencies that will support your idea, not banks. So if you go to those donor agencies, their sites, they will ask you some questions and they'll be sure, they'll follow through. Tony Elumelu Foundation also gives free funds.
Exactly.
So when you have good ideas, it's not the bank you run to. The interest rate will choke the business.
So I think we should go extra mile. As much as we plead on government to provide the essentials.
Yes.
They are trying, and I want to believe that with time we're going to have
I don't know whether they are trying, Sister Liz. Because I love the fact that we have hammered a lot on what we can do as individuals to motivate ourselves, to make sure we have information and to be equipped so that when we do get the right environment, we can thrive or thrive in spite of our environment. But we cannot run away from the fact that the environment needs a lot of work, because that's part of what the international bodies use when they tell us that our ease of doing business index is dropping, is because they see daily that foreign businesses are leaving this country because their production rates are getting higher, because they have to spend more, they have to provide their own power, they have to make sure some of them have to make roads to where their factories are, because the vehicle will go bad if they keep plying bad roads. So we can't run away from this fact. Depending on the level of business that you're doing, you may be able to survive it. But for you to go big, if your trailers keep getting stuck on Lokoja, Okene Road, 247, your products will not get to where it should get to. That's why we have, vegetables and fruits getting damaged between Benue and Abuja. We are losing a lot economically. But so the government has a big role to play if we must grow economically and talk about, the ease of doing business. We can't run away from it. That's the truth.
I always say that government has no business in business.
Just provide the environment.
Government has no business in business. A lot of these things that Rita has just mentioned are things that are having bottleneck because government thinks that they are the ones that are going to do it. All you need to do is give the law, policies, and make the environment flexible for people to come, and you see things work out. I will always repeat it anywhere, that Nigerians are the most hardworking people I've ever seen on earth. Nigerians are the type that would survive at any place you put them. But a lot of things are choking people. Imagine now someone, I was talking my story, but now let's fix parts now. Someone who has money to buy a machine, and all of a sudden, that machine that he had collected his savings to buy, he's dependent on electricity. And he can't afford to get electricity. And he collected clothes from Liz, you, and he promised that he would deliver tomorrow. For 4 days, 5 days, he hasn't had light. how will he survive? Wouldn't that person have frustration because he has a machine? You would say he doesn't have a machine. Wouldn't he try to commit suicide and die? Because a lot of things are frustrating. You see people who also come up because of insecurity. They can't go to their farms again. They can't go to their farms again because the fear of going there to cultivate and coming back alive has choked them up. Are you talking about the roads, like she mentioned? Someone had goods coming in from Lagos. Because of the bad road in Lokoja, they stayed for like 2 weeks. The guy lost a lot of money. And it's not even, if I tell you, you will laugh. Do you know a cosmetics person? Because there are some kind of these cosmetics that are not exposed to sun.
Yes.
The guy lost huge amount of money. This person, are you trying to say that this guy hasn't done well? So if government is going to talk about ease of doing business, there are areas they should look into. I don't see why government should be the one doing roads. Give out these roads. Let commercialize a lot of things.
Put toll gates,
People will become rich now. People will make money from it. Get some things to people.
Like Chukuma,
Lift some things to
do one
people.
road and put toll gates like 3 places.
It doesn't
Please,
matter.
I'll be willing to pay toll gates.
Eventually,
I'll be willing to pay toll gates if the road is good.
you will spend less
Please, I'll be willing to pay toll
than
gates.
if your vehicle gets stuck in that
Of
road
course.
and you can't get your goods.
I'll be willing to pay for
From
toll
one
gates if
to
the road is good.
to the other, if you are sure of security, you're sure that you have a good access. Well, how
course.
much is the price?
Because you're going to make, your turnaround time will be more.
And good roads will reduce insecurity on
Of
the
course.
road. Because it is when you slow down for pothole, that is when people come out of the bush and attack.
It's all right. We've been quite loud on our thoughts on how to make sure that business move. The basic thing is we get to implement most of what we have been able to say. Leave the one for government. Government will take care of their own. And on our own part, we should be able to do our own very best to take ourselves to the greatest level. I am told that the best of the economies are all driven by private sector. So private sector should actually come in our own.
And young people.
Young people as well. All right. That's been it on Conversations. Do join us again next time. My name again is Elizabeth, and I have Inobong,
Robin.
Chukuma.
and Queen Rita. Right? Continue to be good citizens. Continue to make sure that your hands get really dirty in a positive way. That way, the mouth get oily. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Dirty hands, oily mouth. Nice.
Then I quote you.
Hazi.
Did you get to see the way Dele Babadu pulls this back?